This is A Happy Medium.
I'm Jerry, and with me is Mr. Matt Murtaugh. We will be covering pop culture events, the latest in music, the latest in TV, the latest in entertainment, anything pop culture, political events, and whatnot. And Matt's just staring at me.
No, you called me Mister, and it kind of threw me off.
Oh, shit.
It's like an authority thing, and it's like, I feel...
I always used to call you Mr. Murtaugh.
You did, but it was always like sarcastic, kind of like...
You knew what that was from, right, though?
What?
It's from, though, right?
Mr. Murtaugh's from something?
Yeah.
What?
The way I said it.
Oh, high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Glory days.
It's from The Matrix. Oh, Mr. Murtaugh.
Mr. Anderson.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I always said Murtaugh.
Oh, yeah.
That's something we also didn't talk about last episode is that we went to high school together.
We did.
So we were like high school, what do you call it? Long-term friends?
Yeah, but we're not like real like into the high school. Like we don't wear like the Letterman jackets and go to the games. I mean, you are. You did well there. I mean, you played soccer. You went to state. You won state and shit. I mean, we don't need to name names or name any like locations unless you want to. But I've burned enough bridges. So,
well, I guess we went to high school for 2 out of the 4 years together.
2 years. Yeah.
But it's funny. Like, we're really good friends, but we haven't seen each other like the last 10 years. We've probably seen each other like 3 times in the last 10 years.
The 9 Inch Nails show, saw you there, and then the bachelor party, saw you there. And I'm not saying like that was bad, but just like the whole situation there.
Yeah.
It was for nothing.
But yeah, it's so anyway, it's not just 2 guys that, hey, you want to start a podcast? Yeah, sure, let's start a podcast. There's 2 random strangers or two co-workers or something.
We've been wanting to pretty much do something like this, I think, for a while, and we've never been like in the same area really long enough to actually do anything. You've had your projects, I've had my situations, my pursuits, and
and that's another thing. We're not, just 2 Joe Schmoes that like TV. I mean, you've been in TV, radio, music, whatever. You've worked in radio your whole professional career, and I've done.
I wouldn't say professional. I mean, the definition of professional.
Did you get paid for it?
Yes, that's the definition of professional. Right. I was just going to say that. So then, yes.
You're not doing radio out of your basement.
I wouldn't say like I was the MBA of radio, though. No. I wasn't doing a pirate radio. Pirate radio broadcast. Even though at times I wish I rather was doing that instead. So, but I've been listening to the radio all around the topic of that.
Did you hear or see? It was a viral video, I guess, of completely automated DJ. It was just completely computerized.
Yeah,
and that's your future.
Well, that's not my future.
No, it's the future in radio.
That's how it is now. That's what the DJs are going to be. Alexa,
right?
You're just going to, hey, I want to hear this. I want to hear that. What's the weather? Not weather coming up at 8:20. It's like I want to hear it fucking now. I don't want to fucking wait till 8:20. I'm not listening to this god awful shit. There was a guy, it was in Ohio, where they cut in on the Bachelorette because there was a storm, and he was getting the live feedback, the tweets or whatever, or it was instant feedback or some feature the station had, like, you can connect to us. And it was bad. And he even got mad and was saying shit to people like, hey, I'm not an asshole or whatever.
It is really sad. I mean, it happens all the time. It happens during, football games, anything that's on the local state, the networks, any prime time, big. I mean, it does get millions of people watching. So it is sad when people bitch about it, but at the same time, if I'm watching a game and it's close and they come in to tell me about a tornado that's not even close to me, granted, the listening area is big, it pisses me off. With all the areas of ways to getting to you, that shouldn't still be a factor, even though I guess not everybody has internet. Like,
well, it's all about ratings, because they could simply all they could do is simply send an alert to your phone, and they do already when it's really bad, like Amber Alerts, national disasters, like if we're getting fucking nuked by North Korea or whoever the fuck's coming after us now, we get an alert to our phone. Let me ask you this. Is that more effective having television and radio done right to inform the public or having it sent to your phone? What would reach you quicker?
The phone.
Why?
Because the phone's always on me or near me. Not everybody's always listening or watching.
Even if you're in your car?
I'm never in my car.
Say
I know, because I'm not everybody.
I know you're not everybody. I'm not everybody either. I'm not normal. I'm not your normal person. Like the way I'm weighing in on this, I'm weighing in on this from a different point of view than your normal person. But if you're in your car, you're going from point A to point B, let's say a 30-minute drive, and some shit goes down, would you be listening to the radio, or would your phone go off because you're streaming something on your phone and you'd be like, holy shit, they just blew up a bridge. I was gonna,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you always want to turn to the local news.
You do.
Listening or watching. And so if it does, so if we're going back to the hypothetical, so if no one ran a station, it's going to be more so radio than TV. So if a radio station, if no one ran it, I feel like there would always be somebody there if you needed, almost
there'd be an EAS thing. Like I had Hotel Artemis on that movie that you go, well, what the fuck is this? Never heard of it. Jodie Foster, Charlie Day, dude from This Is Us, Sterling something. It's a good movie. Dave Batista from WWE's in it. It made no money. It's good. It got high scores.
They're not sponsoring this podcast. Matt just really likes it.
I'm just going into detail. That you heard the alarm, right? Because I said it's a post-apocalyptic scenario.
Right.
The emergency alert system, that is what will cover these people's asses, is that will go off. And they'll be like, there's a thunderstorm warning. Or they'll have some sort of generic code that will apply for nuclear holocaust.
You can only know so much, but like you might get updated from a phone, from a news source, but they're not going to know. I mean, this is a tornado. There's a lot of other stuff that this is useful for, but we're talking about just one instance.
Well, like blizzards and stuff, like ice storms.
But I think it's just a connection. Like it obviously comes down to fear. It's like, is my house going to get torn apart? So you, instead of not having, because the phones don't really comfort you when it comes to that. You want to hear somebody explain it.
A friendly face.
The possibilities.
Let you know it's going to be okay.
And more detail.
But it is fear-based because do you watch the news? I watch it sometimes.
No.
And it's something I put on the background, but it's basically like, this will kill you. Find out more at 11. With your phone, you can find out right now. That's my point.
Right.
But then you don't have ideally an attractive anchor explaining it to you, which is that's their role at this point.
And I don't watch a lot of news, so when I do watch it, I feel like all the young, attractive news anchors, like they're here for a year or two, and then they're gone.
That's the business. You want to move up.
So I feel like the ones that are always on TV, or at least have like the good spots, are the older anchors who have been around. And I don't know if it's because that's their business. And like when these younger anchors move, I don't know if they're moving or if they're just leaving. Like they say they're moving, they're just leaving the business. I don't know. I don't pay attention that much.
It's rough. Like a media all around is rough. There's no jobs really anywhere. I mean, I'm not gonna say there's no jobs anywhere, but it's the same where it's more consolidation. You got one guy who is just an anchor who's gonna have like 10 more duties now, and they're hiring younger people because they're inexperienced. And they don't have like 10 years of New York City on their resume. So you pay them less, but they can't move up because they have someone who's been here for 20 years. They're, a face in the community. Think of like an Al Roker like character. People on the Today Show, like they're not going anywhere unless you're Matt Lauer and get, charged with sexual harassment or sexual assault or whatever happened to them. But the problem with media these days is there's nowhere for anybody to really go anymore. Back in the old days, people moved around. Even the older people would move around all the time. You always were going up. You always were going up. But now there's nowhere for these older people to go. And they're better off staying put. And they're better off staying there for multiple years instead of jumping. It's safer that way. So these younger people, they have to go elsewhere because there's nowhere for them to go.
I feel like that's like media for sure. But almost like a lot of jobs are almost like that, unless you're like big into finance. Like that's kind of like the theme. Like even if you have 10, 20, 30 years of experience, you might not have anywhere to go if you get let go, if you get replaced.
Well, think about this. Say like you're in, let's think of a big city like Cincinnati. You're in Cincinnati for 20 years as a news anchor, and you're a well-known name. And just budget cuts, you just get paid way too much, and you get let go, and you can't find work else in the town. There's no other jobs. Can't go cross town. There's no openings, or they won't pay you nearly as much. And they're a nightmare. Their situation's messed up. So you try to go to some smaller town. They won't touch you. I mean, they might, but they either will or they won't. They either will be like, oh, my God, you're from Cincinnati in 20 years, you're a legend. But they also might be like, we don't want someone like you here because we suck balls. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we're a joke, and you're going to come in here and laugh at us, and we're only going to pay you X amount of dollars, which you probably have in your couch cushions.
Right.
So there's nowhere for them to go. This is why they do this. This is why we're going to have problems.
Yeah, that's why podcasts are so popular, because anybody and everybody can and will do them. And, yeah, that's that. That's why we're doing it.
We're doing it just to have fun. I honestly, like, I wanted to do something like this for a while, and I've done various formations of it, and I think as time goes on, it's going to be harder to do this because of certain companies getting involved. Companies that have killed other facets of the industry are now going to probably kill this.
Podcasts in general?
Yeah, I mean, not podcasts in general.
Right. I mean,
they're going to make it shitty like they made radio shitty, like they made TV shitty.
There's going to be, I mean, the bubbles, I mean, everybody's doing podcasts, so there's going to be a bubble burst at some point.
But not everybody has the resources as certain companies and celebrities. So it's going to become like these big networks, and it's going to be like radio or networks. And the only difference between that and radio and TV is not anybody can have their own TV station. I guess UHF, not UHF, but public access or whatever. And you can also pay to be on the radio too. AM stations mainly if you're like a priest and you want to tell everyone they're going to hell.
Yeah. Well, or let's just say where
sell shit. Sorry.
Where the money's at. Yeah. Like to make money. Anybody can do a podcast as long as there's an internet connection.
It's just an outlet. It's an outlet. It's a connection. You said radio is like a connection. Well, we're connecting to whoever the fuck, wants
I mean, podcast is just a term.
It is a term.
10 years ago, this is a radio show.
Well, podcast also means video too.
Right.
Yeah, blog, podcast, video cast, vlog.
This has been around for years, what we're doing in interviews and stuff. It was called a radio show back then. Whether you were on radio, you just still called it a radio show. This is our show. This is a show. And then you just...
Do you remember Lycos? It was like an online thing where you could sign up and you could basically host your own show live. It didn't last very long.
Was that before or after Ustream?
Before Ustream. This is when I was like, it was around the time, maybe a few years before we did our first project together that we're not going to mention.
That was gold.
Some of it was.
We're going to resurface
Flashes of brilliance.
We made We made 2 comedy albums.
It really wouldn't work in today's world, obviously, and we've discussed this.
That's good, though.
This is something that would come back and get us as we ran for office someday. But I think there's just a shame that we just stopped. I guess I went to Chicago and did the radio thing, and then we went to Nashville eventually. And,
how would you even make a comedy album nowadays?
Oh, they're dead. That's not even. We were that was like the end of that era right there. Right. The only comedy albums that exist now are someone recording their stand-up show, and you can download an MP3 of it. The skits, the sketches, except this. I'm going to the Tenacious D show, and he's got some concept album with a bunch of skits about the end of the world, and that's on YouTube. But it's I listen to the album, but it's more like the animation if you watch the actual video, because it's all them talking to people at the end of the world and they sing. So I guess that's sort of a comedy album, but it's more music and more of it works more watching it, I guess. It'll work seeing it live because they'll act it out probably,
Yeah. I think it's all coming back though. I think there will be, it's not a revolt, but in terms of just being able to do non-PC things, because it's almost, if it hasn't already, just hit a point of just absurdity.
I think people are annoyed by the outrage. They're annoyed they're annoyed to the point where actual non-PC stuff is people are getting away with it at this point because people are so annoyed by everything's offensive, everything hurts my feelings, and it really makes the millennial generation look terrible. It really does. Because you watch, like, I was talking about this the other day, and I'm sorry. I'm getting worked up. You've seen Revenge of the Nerds?
Oh, it's been a while. It's been a long time.
Okay. 2 examples. Revenge of the Nerds and Porky's.
Oh, yeah, they're the bad guy. Like, I've heard this theory.
Well, Revenge of the Nerds, I don't know if you heard this. I don't know what theory you're talking about. So, Revenge of the Nerds, dude wears a Darth Vader mask, misrepresents himself. She thinks it's somebody else. He eats her out, blows her mind. She finds out it's a nerd, and she's cool with it. Okay, that's fucking rape, man.
Right.
And then Porky's, he sticks his dick through a hole in a locker room. That's assault.
Right. That's my point. Like they were.
That's a theory. Yeah.
Not a theory, but just the way
that would never work.
A way to look at it.
Or even American Pie, where he's like fucking a pie and they're trying to get laid. Like, oh my god,
what's wrong with that?
The show, but there'll be these
but that's
people
not like assault.
No, but these people now would be like chauvinistic men trying to get laid. Terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so here's the thing. So like, a lot of the PC stuff, we'll call it that, just PC. A lot of it, there's points too, like you said, with the Revenge of the Nerds, like with behavior in real life. Like there was a lot of shitty things that happened to people, and that wouldn't happen today. But there's a lot that's not. That's just, a perfect example, just like you said. One's like sexual assault, and one's just fucking a pie. That's just quote unquote gross.
I watched Richard Pryor roast, and of course, giving it Richard Pryor and the kind of humor that he does, there's a lot of racial slurs that he drops, which is still prevalent today in stand-up, especially for Black and Latino people. They use racial slurs. Of course, white people don't unless they're performing for a KKK rally or something.
That's called alt-right nowadays.
I'm an alt-right comic. I do I do bigot humor. Strictly bigot humor. I got up a little puppet. But they say the F word for gay people like several times, and it's just nobody cares, and that would totally not fly today. And it was just like, ha 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 ha, and everyone's just like, ha ha. I don't want to say because I'd get destroyed by the PC people.
Oh, I know.
That's actually considered like a bad thing to say now.
That's my point.
And I'm for that.
That's my point.
But it was so nonchalant the way they just kept dropping that word, and
people, and we're gonna say the younger generation, like you just don't understand because, like that word, even when we were growing up, that term was just a term to be called, that referred to being like a loser or a, what did it? Just it didn't. It
was also endearing though. Like, hey, what's up?
You were gay. It didn't mean right, and that too. It was.
But that's what it means now. So you got to accept it.
Right.
You got to adjust.
That's my point. But that's how we grew up with that word.
Right.
So it's when someone of a younger age gets pissed because someone of an older age or mid, whatever we are, we're not old, but older than them, age uses it, even though I wouldn't be caught dead using that word now.
Neither would I. But
that's how that's how we grew up.
We didn't know any better.
Right.
And now we know better, so we're not doing it.
I know. Do we not know better, or just that's what it meant?
We didn't know, like, I mean,
but what changed?
Well, here's the thing. It's just people got more
PC culture.
Well, people got more socially conscious.
Yeah.
And it just got like to the point where everything was offensive. Because I agree, like, you shouldn't say something like that. If that's a slur that offends people, and we decide collectively as a culture that that's not okay, you can't use that casually anymore. That's fine. I mean, I'm for that. But then it's like stupid shit is like becoming offensive, where it's ridiculous. Like college campuses are horrible places for comedians to perform at now. Horrible. They used to be the bread and butter for comedians, is play a rowdy, drunken college fraternity campus. Now it's like, no.
You have to be super clean.
Super clean and super socially conscious and anti-Trump, pretty much. You'll do great if you're anti-Trump, and I'm not saying any kind of stance on that. I'm just saying that's what they want to hear.
Right. And that's sad. In a way. I mean, in moderation.
Well, and also it's like, you're not just, it gets to a point where you're not hearing comedy, you're hearing a political ideology disguised as comedy.
Right.
And certain people get away with certain things based on their affiliation versus other people. And it's not fair.
So did all this start, or not even start, get really, really bad after Trump got elected? like in terms of everything being super over the line PC.
I think that the PC culture happened before Trump. It happened under the Obama administration. And I'm not like saying, oh, Obama did it or whatever, but I think that under his administration, everything got more socially conscious and people got more for immigration and healthcare. I'm not saying that has anything to do with PC, but just gay marriage, all these things, like, except weed. The motherfucker didn't do anything about weed. He did all this stuff that was like socially progressive. And then Trump was like the backlash to that. Trump was everyone who's like, fuck this shit. We want, we want this. And then
to be the way it used to be.
Right. Well, that has like racial connotations.
No, I didn't mean that.
But that's what people say though when he says that, like, make America great again.
Right. That's what I mean.
I think he means make it like a hardworking, like #1 country in the world kind of place. But when you say it, make it again, it also kind of implies like, you mean back when people were like didn't have rights?
Right. Right. And some
So
people
I get
are
it.
for that.
Yes, they are. Unfortunately, they represent. They're a small group that represent. They get more credit than they deserve. I don't think the people who are like, I don't know. I think the hate groups, white, black, all of them, they're not as big as people say they are.
No, but they get the most coverage.
Right. Exactly. Like there's some Klan March and it's totally irrelevant and nobody gives a shit, but they'll put it on the news and we're really scared even though like no one fucking showed up.
Right.
And then, like, no one gives a shit. They have no power. I mean, back in the day, the Klan was, like, some secret organization, and they ran towns. They ran shit, and I don't think it's like that anymore. I've heard there's a town in this area that's pretty much a Klan town, and I don't want to say its name. If anyone's listening, they
Is it
probably
really
know.
like the Klan, or is it just like
They just got a high Klan population.
This new alt-right.
I don't know if it's a new alt-right. The Klan's been around since, like, the 1800s.
That's what I'm asking. Like, is it representing themselves as a part of the Klan?
The new alt-right is like, we're hip. We're alt-right, but we're hip. Like, we're cool. Like, we're white. We're proud to be white. And we're sick of people telling us that we shouldn't be white. And it's like I don't want to say it's like the Klan because it turns into that. Unfortunately, it turns into that shit. But like the idea of it on paper without the racist shit is that it's just like a progressive Republican. If that makes sense? Like right. You think Republican, you think of some fat white guy with white hair. He's bald and he is racist and hates everybody. And alt-right is more of like a younger movement. And
it's probably the same theory. It's just a different this generation.
It's morphed. Yes, it's morphed into the
idea of
that.
Yes.
But it's unfortunately like it's just lumped into the racist groups, and to me it's like, well, you can believe that, but like you don't want to be lumped with these racist groups. Like you go to these rallies and they show up, like who wants that? Get the fuck out of there. That's terrible.
Right. It all boils down to is this that you got. We'll just say 3. You got 3 groups in this country. I mean, we're split 3 ways. You got ones that are heavily on the left, ones heavily on the right, but a majority of it is just people that maybe lean one way on some things, maybe lean one way on the other ways, but are just down the middle.
People vote their pocketbook at the end of the day. They vote how much money they're going to have. I don't give a shit who you are.
Yeah.
Unless you're super rich, like the celebrities, and it doesn't affect you.
Age affects that too. Because when you're younger, you're not making any money.
Because who gives a fuck? Free stuff for everybody.
Yeah, for the most part, it's based on.
But then when you own a house, it's like, I'm not giving this to anybody.
House, kids, tax,
Did you watch the debates? Have you watched any of the debates, the Democratic debates?
I've
last 2 nights are the first ones.
I didn't watch it, but I read the coverage. Give me a report.
I didn't watch it
because I'm entering. I don't like to enter the political season too early because I know we're just going to get completely.
The political season.
Oh my god, this 2020 is going to kill me. But
yeah,
it's begun. I guess it's begun a couple months ago, but I guess this is the start of it with the actual debates. The Dems.
Yeah, it's a shit show. It really is. Biden's been destroyed. He was destroyed last night, and he was destroyed last time. From what I've understood, he just sounds stupid. Cory Booker took him down last night. Kamala Harris took him down last night, and then took him down the first time, where she accused him of being racist, and he kind of just couldn't recover from that.
So is he going to be the new Hillary Clinton?
They're trying. Okay, so it's like this. It's like you got the Democrats and you got the hardcore left, like progressive Democrats, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Kamala Harris. Those people who are like, free everything, socialist pretty much, and they're openly socialist. I don't know if Kamala Harris is openly socialist, but and then Biden is your normal, run-of-the-mill Democrat that you're used to, regular Joe. They want him because they want to get the people who won't vote for a black person or necessarily or a gay person, old white guy to combat Trump, the people who are on the fence about Trump. And they're just slaughtering him, and he's just like, he's not doing well. They're saying he doesn't prepare, and he's like stubborn, and Obama won't even endorse him.
Really?
Well, he hasn't endorsed him yet.
Obama won't endorse anybody till later.
Well, he's going to give that final push, but you'd think being the vice president, that the guy would like be somewhat supportive. He's been silent.
When's the first election? Like the first states?
Oh, I don't know. It won't be. I don't know. I do not know. To find out who the candidate is going to be. Well, it's going to be the Democratic National Convention. I'm not sure when that is. Let me look that up real quick.
I just remember that when this started, when Bush was president, pretty much before Obama was elected, that Obama was a nobody until the first round of elections.
July 13th, 2020 to July 16th, 2020 is the Democratic National Convention. That's when the person will be decided.
But that's not the first round of votes, though.
No, but they'll be all done by then.
Right.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
A whole year from now.
Yeah, a whole year from now, basically. This time next year.
God,
we'll find out who's going up against Big Trump Dog.
So as of after these, there's been two debates, correct?
Correct. Well,
who do you think's the top?
Two sets of debates.
Whatever.
There's like so many people running that they've had to break it up into multiple nights, but 2 nights of
Is that
one
how
debate.
The Republicans were?
I can't remember.
Oh, there's just so many Democrat.
There was a shit show. The Republicans. It was like just Trump like bullying everybody,
right.
Like lying Ted Cruz and like making up names like small hands, all that shit.
So who after all let's say all the debates, after all the debates, who do you think's the front runner as of right now?
Well, I think I don't know who the front runner is. Who I think is I think Biden's done. I think he's finished. I think Kamala Harris looks hot. She's hot. I mean, sexy, attractive older woman. I wouldn't say even older. She got dissed though. She took down Biden the first night, calling him a racist. The first debate, not the first night, basically accusing him of racism and policies that he's been doing for the past 30 years. But Tulsi Gabbard or Gabbard, I don't know the fuck to say her name. She's running. A lot of people, you don't know how to say their names that are running, and I'm not saying because they're different. You just don't know who the hell they are.
Is she the one that's way out there?
Well, I don't know. They're all way out there, a lot of them. She accused Kamala of her prosecuting people for weed when she's openly admitted that she smoked weed before. And unlike Bill Clinton, she inhaled. So she got dissed for that. And people kind of went after her. Cory Booker, he's another hot one. I don't think he's actually hot like Kamala's hot, but he's running. I think he's married to Rosario Dawson. That's his wife, Cory Booker. And Elizabeth Warren, and then Bernie Sanders will be your top people.
I feel like, this is from the way outside because I haven't been paying attention, but just knowing or at least following the people that are running, I think it's going to come down between Bernie Sanders and Cory Booker.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Bernie, and not to be ageist, is just too old, though.
Well, I'm just saying his following.
He's got a huge following.
He's got a huge following. I think he's batshit crazy, but
yeah. I mean, it'd be nice if all that shit could work out, but
Cory Booker's got, you can say he's another Obama, but not me, just in general, younger person of color. Is he black?
I think he's black. I mean, I don't know.
So anyway,
he's a person of color.
I'm just saying it will the voters who were for Obama will want someone like that in office to beat Trump, or not in office, in the election,
or a female,
or female.
Elizabeth Warren. A lot of people like her. I hear a lot of buzz about her. She's, though, made that stupid comment saying that she was Native American and she was like 1% Native American, which I guess technically you're
Did
Native
she say
American.
that just to get the Native American?
Well, she said it to Trump. She taunted Trump. They went back and forth about it, and Trump called her Pocahontas. And then she's like, if I take this test, then you got to donate all this money to this charity. And then she took the test, the ancestry test, and it was like 1%. And he's like, oh, screw, you're only 1%. You're not real. You're not like you're not the same as these people who've been disparaged by, they're intense and they have casinos and they've been fucked over. Like, you're fucking white pretty much is what he's saying. So, I don't think her fans give a shit. They probably are like, you are Native American. How dare he? Racist.
I just think we're screwed.
Oh, it's
I'm
gonna,
not
it's
even
going to get
past
worse.
2020. We talked about it last time. It's just it's not who's the best politician.
Here's our options. If he wins, we're going to keep having what we're having, but worse. If he loses, then all his people are going to be fucking complaining and running their mouths. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
End it.
Yeah,
Bring back kings.
no kidding.
Just bring back kings.
But what if Trump wins and then he implements that rule? Like, there could be unlimited terms.
He can't do that. They won't let him. They're trying to impeach him every day, so something's going to happen.
Yeah, but he's bulletproof.
Something's got to give. They're going to find
The
something.
man is bulletproof.
They're bringing up all these sexual assault
They've
things
been
about
bringing
him.
it up ever since he got elected. Even before he got elected, they were bringing up sexual assault, and the man still got elected.
People don't care. He even said, I could shoot a man on Fifth Avenue in front of everybody. No one would care.
He is bulletproof.
That's how bad people hated Obama, like his followers.
Hated Obama or hated Hillary?
Hated the Democrats and what they were doing.
I think it's more hated Hillary. Obama had nothing to do with it.
It was a backlash to him, though.
Yeah,
a backlash to 8 years under Democratic rule. Usually, if you have 8 years of a certain party, there's going to be a backlash. Obama was the backlash to Bush. Everyone hated Bush, so then you got this guy in a completely opposite direction.
Man, I think Britain needs to step in here. Listen, guys,
They got a Trump guy now. They got some guy in charge that they all hate.
But at least they have they have a royal family.
They're just figureheads, though. They literally have no fucking power.
They're like the
Meghan
parents
Markle.
they're like the parents that don't care. But yeah, Britain's got that too. They got the
Brexit. It sounds like brunch and or like breakfast, some kind of meal. Like, let's have Brexit.
What's this world coming to?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess there were worse periods of time at the moment.
I was just gonna say I'm watching Deadwood and Boardwalk Empire, and Boardwalk Empire's in the 1920s, and Deadwood's in like the 1800s, and there are worse times than now.
Yeah,
a lot worse times than now.
When I say that, and people are very dramatic about just how terrible times are. You motherfuckers got it good. Most of you.
In Deadwood days, like 50 was considered like you're like how 80 years old would be now. Like people like the life expectancy was like 40.
People bitch about the internet getting regulated and. Oh, I only have 5 or 4 streaming services to choose from instead of 6, and you got it good as of right now.
So when you just mentioned streaming services, and when we were out to eat the other night, you brought up that you're dropping Netflix, the big one. That's the top dog, big dog Netflix. I know I'm saying dog a lot. We're talking about crutch words, but I love dogs. I have one upstairs.
So yes, I did drop Netflix.
How could you?
Because talking about the big dog, it's the one that costs the most.
Orange is the New Black.
I don't care.
13 Reasons Why.
Don't care.
Ozark.
I do care about that one.
What about that fucking Bandersnatch Black Mirror shit? I never watched it.
I've already seen it. I'm not a rewatcher.
Neither am I.
I feel like I want to, but there's so much stuff out there. Here's the thing. Not just cost. I get a panic attack every time I try to sit down and try to watch something. It's like because there's so many choices.
Oh, I know. Like
it's like and then and if I watch something for 5 minutes, if I don't like it, I got to watch something else. It's almost like I need to utilize because I don't have a lot of time to sit down and watch something, but I'll watch something like during lunch or watch something, late in the day.
But picking something to watch on like Amazon or even something to rent, It's got to be just right.
It has to
It's
be
gotta
perfect.
This is my only 2 hours I have to myself today. I'm not going to waste on some garbage. Oh, I like this, but let's see what else there is. I like that too.
Exactly.
10 more movies I've looked through. That one. Oh, I'll go all the way back. No, just keep going. Oh, I can't.
So Netflix is like the first. I mean, I canceled it, but who says I can't join back up a month later or when Ozark comes back?
Oh,
That's
they'll
kind
take
of
you
my
back.
point of
They'll
view.
take you back. Do you think
but
it's become more of a original content than movies like we discussed?
that was my other point. It's just like there's so much on there, and yeah, there's a couple good shows that I like, but I feel like it's not for me. It's not for my age. I feel like all these original content, it's more younger demographic. I don't know, or maybe that's just my point or my take off of it. I just didn't see a lot until I canceled it, and they gave me like I have it till for another couple days. And now I'm trying to watch as much as possible. I'm like, oh, there is kind of a lot of. It's like rose-colored glasses. Like, there's kind of a lot of stuff on here. I feel like I need to watch all this stuff before it goes away.
Once you can't have it, then you want it.
Exactly. But there's multiple reasons, and like I said, it's mainly it's just a test, or just see if I can.
Seems like it's becoming more of a. It's become like HBO Go or something, where it has its own shows, its own movies. Like Adam Sandler has a deal with Netflix. It has its own stand-up specials now. Netflix specials are really big now for comedians to have. They seem to be very, very nonchalant in how they give them out to people.
Yeah,
They had to fucking take away the ratings because people were trolling Amy Schumer. Not saying that it was good, but people were writing that it sucked. It used to have stars. Now they've taken that away, so it doesn't ruin shows for people.
right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, with everything, I think I have all the big streaming services. So just gonna see.
Let's circle back though and combine this with what we originally were talking about. So you don't want to pay for Netflix. Would you pay for radio if you had to? If radio became a paying service or network TV? And network TV is not fair to compare because under the Obama administration, I'm not like attacking them. I'm just saying this would happen is they got rid of the antenna. You had to basically have cable to have TV, so therefore you had to basically pay for network TV. But if the same thing happened, I kept thinking, if this happened to radio where they made it all digital and you needed like some tuner or some shit, people would just say fuck it, wouldn't they?
You mean so if they got rid of it and like
It's the same thing, but you have to pay for it.
Is your only choice?
No, it's the same thing. You got to pay for
same
it.
thing.
You got to pay for FM. It's the same shit. You just got to pay like $5 a month for it. Now, people like 50 million people pay for Sirius XM. Millions of people pay just to listen to fucking Howard Stern.
It depends. If it was $5, I'd possibly. But I don't have a commute.
Okay. If
I
you
had
did,
a commute, yeah, if I'm $5, maybe not $10. The shit's adding up, and that's like there's gonna be something's gonna happen because everybody's coming out with streaming services,
I've seen the CBS All Access. They really tried to do a big deal with the Twilight Zone.
and that's gonna fail.
Well, it did fail. Jordan Peele has his name on it, so they try to lure people in with that.
You can't have a streaming service for one network.
Right. They needed to combine, like, have a whole Viacom app. Like, because Viacom owns Showtime, Viacom owns CBS, Viacom owns Comedy Central, Viacom owns MTV. Have all that on an app. Like CBS All Access, they did a Will Ferrell show, and they did a new version of Star Trek, like a different kind of generation of Star Trek, and then they got Twilight Zone. But that's not enough. That's not enough for however much a month to add that to your shit.
There's just too much damn content. I was going to do a rant about this, but we'll just talk about it now.
Yeah, go for it.
There's just, I mean, we are. There's just way too much. There's too much. Like half of the services, half of the shows, they need to go.
What about like when our parents were kids and they only had 3 channels and you had to watch whatever jerk-off show was on at the time versus now we can watch literally thousands of things whenever we fucking want to.
I need a happy medium.
Oh, there is no medium. That's what we're learning. It's 2019, there's no medium.
Do I still have an internet connection? Like, can I still like listen to things or?
What do you mean in this scenario?
Yeah, in this scenario.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, because I can find a lot of other things to do besides watch TV
well, music, yeah.
or podcasts.
So
Or
yeah,
just YouTube.
Like this podcast.
Just give me YouTube.
You want to listen to this one, right?
All right. Well, I think we're done for today. I'm Jerry,
I've had all I can take. I'm Matt.
and we'll see you in outer space.
Not if I see you first.
How do you see me in outer space?
Because I'm on LSD.
This has been a happy medium.